Since RVing is, by its very nature, a mobile activity, RV trip planning is an integral part of just about every RVer's life.
That includes mapping out routes, identifying area attractions that fit with your interests, finding fuel, dump stations, propane, and other RV services.
And of course, RV trip planning also includes finding places to camp. Whether you prefer camping in full-service RV parks, in national or state parks, boondocking off the grid, or like us, a combination of all of the above, identifying the types of camping that are available and the best way to get there is an important part of RVing.
Planning an RV trip is part of the excitement, with the anticipation of all the fun and adventure you're going to have. Or at least the planning should be fun. Without the right resources, you might find planning a trip more tedious than it has to be. But with the right tools, RV trip planning can be both easy and more rewarding.
Luckily, technology has made planning an RV trip a lot easier than it used to be. Not to date ourselves, but when we hit the road to start full-timing back in 2003, the first iPhone was still more than 4 years away from being invented. We had to rely on paper maps or planning ahead of time when we had access to the internet.
Things have improved dramatically since then, not only with mobile connectivity being widely available, but with the proliferation of apps and websites that have been created to help RVers plan their trips.
If you want to kick back at an RV resort and get there quickly on the interstate, you might use one app. If you're looking for a remote boondocking spot and want to stay on scenic roads instead, you might use a different app.
Today, we're going to share the most common apps and websites that we use to plan our trips. This isn't an exhaustive list, but instead a look at our favorites. We like some of them so much that we've been able to arrange special discounts for you. We'll mention those deals as we cover each app and what it does.
We'll also include a link in the video description and the first pinned comment to our blog post about this topic, where you can find all of the links and discount codes we'll be mentioning.
Even though most of these are both apps and websites, to keep it simple, we'll just refer to them all as apps. Keep in mind that we're not providing detailed tutorials on each one. We're just sharing those that we use most often and providing overviews of the tools we depend on to plan our routes and destinations.
First up is the DIRT.
The DIRT features a huge database loaded with detailed listings of RV parks and campgrounds all over the United States. It's available as both a website and an app, and it includes information on each location, as well as user-submitted reviews and photos. It also includes great boondocking spots.
Everything is listed on a searchable interactive map, which makes things easy to find based on location. You can also filter by site type, the amenities you're looking for, the type and size of the rig you drive, price, rating, and more.
The DIRT magazine features informative articles to help you get the most out of RVing with suggestions about gear, destinations, and inspiration from other campers.
The DIRT even holds contests where you have the chance to win great camping gear by submitting reviews of places you've stayed.
You can get even more out of the DIRT by upgrading to their Pro access.
The DIRT Pro Trip Planner lets you map out routes, fuel stops, and overnight stays along any path you choose. It's a versatile tool that will take your travel and driving preferences and type of RV into account as it helps you plan your trip.
You can even download your trip maps so that if you're in a poor cell area along the way, you'll still have all your trip information available. You can even export your trip to Google Maps and use that for navigation.
Pro also includes access to BLM, Forest Service, and National Park Service map overlays. These are especially useful for RVers who like to camp off the grid in more remote areas.
Pro Access also offers savings on stays at participating campgrounds ranging from 10 to 40%, as well as discounts on great camping-related gear.
Like many worthwhile tools, the DIRT Pro isn't free, but it's reasonably priced, currently $35.99 a year. To give you a chance to really experience how well the DIRT Pro works, they usually offer a 7-day free trial. But we thought that having more time to really get familiar with everything it can do would be even better.
So we're happy to announce that the DIRT is offering RVgeeks viewers a special 90-day free trial. Just use the code RVGeeks90 when you sign up, and you'll get to explore the DIRT Pro for 3 months for free.
You'll need to enter your credit card number to sign up, but you'll have a full 90 days to cancel without paying a thing. After 3 months of using the DIRT Pro, we're pretty sure you'll want to keep it in your RVing toolbox.
Our next planning tool is RV Trip Wizard, which is now part of the RVLIFE Pro suite of resources. RV Trip Wizard has been usable through their website for some time, and its functionality is now starting to be incorporated into the RVLIFE app itself.
RV Trip Wizard is a full-fledged trip planning tool that allows us to build out RV trips based on preferred driving distance or time, type of rig, fuel range, and a host of other factors.
It can automatically find the best route based on the preferences you provide, and once your route is planned, you can use it to find campgrounds, fuel stops, and area attractions all along the way.
It also includes reviews of parks submitted by fellow RVers through campgroundreviews.com, one of the largest and most established review websites on the internet.
One of the best additions to RV Trip Wizard has come through their integration into RVLIFE. That's their RV Safe GPS feature. It turns your smartphone into an RV Safe GPS navigator, watching out for low overpasses, low-weight bridges, propane-restricted tunnels, and other hazards that are specific to RVs.
It even lets you download your trips so that RV Safe GPS navigation is available whether you have cell signal or not.
RV Trip Wizard is a valuable tool, but like the DIRT Pro, it's not free. So we're happy to announce that RVLIFE is offering RVgeeks viewers a special 25% discount, along with a 7-day free trial.
To get the savings, use the code RVgeeks when you sign up. You'll not only get access to RV Trip Wizard, but the entire RVLIFE Pro suite of tools. That includes Maintain My RV, a great way to track your upcoming maintenance dates and get reminders so you don't miss anything.
Next up is To Go RV, which includes 2 great resources in one. The first of those is Road Trippers, which is another full-fledged trip planning website and app, like the DIRT Pro and RV Trip Wizard. The app will present you with a map, and you can begin to add places where you'd like to stop.
You can add overlays to show camping, popular attractions, points of interest, places to eat, and more. You can also search for services, including gas stations and rest areas. Road Trippers will even let you determine how far off the route you're willing to travel for extra sights and experiences.
It shows your estimated travel time, mileage, and gas costs for the entire trip. Adding a stop is simple, and with reviews and ratings for campgrounds, you can easily find the best places to stay.
A cool additional feature allows you to plan travel with friends by inviting them to add to the trip.
There's a basic level of Road Trippers that's free and includes up to 5 waypoints on a single trip. But we recommend upgrading to the premium plan called To Go RV Plus. Not only does the upgraded version offer offline maps, live traffic updates, and the option to add more points of interest to your trip, but it also includes another of our favorites, overnightrvparking.com.
While not specifically a trip planning tool, overnight RV parking is indispensable for us when we're on a long trip and need to find a place to stop for the night.
Available through either their app or their website, it lists locations like Walmart's and lets you know which ones allow overnight parking and, equally important, which ones don't.
You'll find Cabela's, Bass Pro Shops, and Cracker Barrels. Again, both those that allow overnight parking and those that prohibit it.
There are truck stops, rest areas, roadside turnouts, street parking, and all sorts of other places that aren't official camping locations. Places you'd never find without a resource like overnight RV parking.
The webmasters check with property owners and confirm through reports from fellow RVers exactly which places are okay and which aren't.
Keep in mind that this isn't a tool for finding destinations, but one for locating the exact type of places their name implies. Places to park your RV overnight.
To Go RV Plus is yet another service that offers a special discount to RVgeeks viewers. You'll save $10 when you sign up using coupon code RVgeeks. Besides Road Trippers and overnight RV parking, you'll also get To Go RV's GPS app, as well as their discount tire finder.
These are all of the pure trip planners we use, and maybe you're wondering why we have all three. We've found that there are times we want to sleuth out very specific places to camp. And as many listings as each app includes, there are times when we find a real gem of a spot that just isn't listed anywhere else. If you RV very often, the price of having access to all of these apps is well worth it for the great places that they can help you find.
The next app and website we use a lot is Campendium. It's not a trip planner, but it's a really valuable resource anyway. Created by fellow full-timing friends of ours, Campendium has become one of the top resources for boondockers. If you're interested in finding something off the beaten path, this just might be the place to find it.
There are lots of user reviews and information about ease of access, GPS coordinates, and lots of other details. Users can also upload photos and, very importantly, provide details about cellular connectivity for multiple carriers.
Some of the best boondocking locations we've ever stayed in, we found on Campendium.
Finally, we have one more favorite RV trip planner called AllStay's Camp and RV. Like Campendium, it isn't actually a full-blown trip planner, but it's still a really great resource. It's available as both an app and a website, but we'd recommend that the app has a cleaner design and is easier to use.
AllStays lets you find RV parks, overnight parking, rest areas, popular camping stores, and dump stations along your route. You can read reviews from other users and see campground photos, and also filter for RV parks based on specific amenities.
The AllStay's Camp and RV app currently costs just $9.99 for lifetime access, and often has listings not found on the other apps. It's one of our go-to resources for finding places quickly when we don't need the features some of the others offer.
We also have a few honorable mentions that are worth sharing.
Boondockers Welcome and Harvest Hosts offer unique alternatives to the traditional choices of RV parks and boondocking. They both allow you to stay on private property, with Boondockers Welcome focusing more on people with room for RVers to park in their driveway or their yard.
Harvest Hosts gets you access to wineries, farms, and other properties that don't normally allow RVers to stay overnight.
These are both membership services, but they both offer 15% discounts to RVgeeks viewers. As with the rest of the discounts here, we'll include links to our blog post with all of the details down below in the video description and in the first pinned comment.
Or better yet, you can just head over to the RVgeeks.com/discounts to see them, along with a list of other fine companies that offer special deals on great RV gear and services to you just for being here with us.
Another honorable mention goes out to the Ultimate Campground app. It's another resource that provides camping options that may not show up anywhere else.
Lastly, no list of trip planning apps would be complete without Gas Buddy. If you're not using Gas Buddy to find fuel, you're almost certainly paying too much. Even if you're driving a diesel and you've heard about those programs that are supposed to save on fuel at truck stops, you'll usually still pay less by using Gas Buddy to plan your fuel stops.
That's because truck stops charge some of the highest prices in any given area. So getting a discount on a highly inflated price may seem like big savings when it might not be. We also hate using truck lanes since they're usually slick with diesel fuel, which we then end up tracking back into our RV.
We also don't like blocking up busy truck lanes with our RV. When professional drivers are out there working for a living, we hate to hold them up when we have all the time in the world.
So that's our list of our favorite trip planning apps and websites.
If it sounds like having multiple apps is a lot to manage, it's actually pretty easy. Each app has its own strengths, and once you get used to them, you'll have a good idea of which apps make the most sense for your travel style and the types of trips you like to plan.
We use all of these apps at different times, depending on where we're headed, often checking several of them on the same trip.
For apps that have a cost involved, we'd suggest using any free trial period they offer to see what fits best with your travel style. The more time you spend on the road each year, the more places you visit, and the further you go, the more likely you'll want to do what we do.
You'll want all of these apps in your arsenal to make your RV trip planning that much easier, and your trip itself that much more rewarding.
We've written a blog post with more information about each of these resources that includes links to all of them, and the discounts and free trials that are available. We'll put a link down below in the video description to that blog post so you can get more details and try them out.
As you browse through them, we hope you'll find at least a couple of new ones that you haven't tried before and incorporate them into your own RV trip planning.
As always, safe travels,
And thanks for watching.